Morning everybody, Ben the Pat Tester here. Got a smallish job next couple of days just at a primary school, so there's no kids here, Easter holidays, so it should be a good easy run. I came here last week and I counted up about 400 items, but you never know with these schools, because they could have stuff hiding in cupboards and laminators and whatnot and everything. So we'll get inside and get cracking, and hopefully I'll be able to film because there's no kids around and I can show you what I'm up to. So this is a typical one here. It's been Pat tested before. The guys have come round and they've left these cardboard sleeves on the plug, like the little instruction sleeves that you get on the appliances and extension leads. So when you're Pat testing, always take these off. If you're buying a new appliance, just take them off. They can be dangerous if the plug gets hot. These are cardboard, there's a flammable, you know, they could be a fire risk, they're flammable. Just get rid of them. Now this is a typical thing that happens here. So you've got extension lead there, runs down in the corner, and then it all goes into a pile under the desk. You can see there, all the cables are trapped under the desk. It looks like there's a gap, but there's not. They're actually like a rubber feet that runs all the way along there. Those cables are trapped, prone to damage. So when you're going around Pat testing or checking for risks like that, you want to try and feed the cables round the back of the desk if you can, or worst case you'd have to bring the cable round the front. But they can easily be trodden on, or all sorts of things as well. They've also cable tied them up, but the cable ties are far too tight on the joins, so you risk the cable ties digging into the cable and damaging over time. So just a little thing to watch out for. Here's a good one for you. You can see here, the fuse holder, the fuse has clearly been wrapped in foil. I don't know why people do this. I'd love to know what people's thoughts about why they wrap things in foil. I mean, it's been Pat tested last year, but I mean, this could have been done since. But if we just take it out here and have a look, yeah, I don't get it. I mean, it's the right fuse in there. It should be a 3-amp fuse. Any answers, anyone? No idea why someone would do that. So in here, you'll quite often find this in businesses and schools. You've got a comms rack. I've been told not to do this one today just because this comms rack is linked to other PCs and servers in the building, and people are working from home. It's a shame really, because all this stuff still needs to be done, and it would have been an ideal time to do it, because during term time in a school it would be impossible. So I'll see whether we can make some arrangements to get it done tomorrow. It'll only take kind of 10 minutes to do. It's just a small extension lead in there, and then it's powered by an extension lead over there. So it'd be good to check it. I know a few guys do kind of heat testing and things like that, but ideally it all needs to be switched off and properly checked, because they're all class 1, those network switches. So see if we can get that done later on. Now we're just doing one of these IT racks. I don't know if you've seen these in the schools. So they've got rid of all their IT suites, and now they have these little racks on trolleys on wheels with Chromebooks in them. And inside there's all the adapters, cloverleaf cables, AC adapters. They all need testing. But one thing I haven't spotted before, these have got extension leads on kind of 4 shelves, but one thing I haven't spotted before in these racks is in there's a 4-way that then leads out in the back of the rack into the wall. But inside, all of the other 4-ways on each of the shelf is plugged in inside. I've never spotted that before. Normally they're all kind of internally wired extension leads, but somehow I've got to get this shelf out. Because they'll all need testing. They've all got rewirable plugs on them, so they're all going to need a visual check. and then I'm going to have to do the extension lead check on all 4 of them. So it's all fun and games. So I've had a look at this, and these shelves, they look like they're wedged in inside down here. There's a couple of metal pins, and they move so far, and then they're pinned in, but it looks like the unit's been built around these shelves, and there's no way I can get that out. So I'm not going to waste too much time on this. I'm going to move on, and then it might be a job. End of the day tomorrow, I'll come back and have a look at that, and once I can figure out how to do one, should be able to do the rest, but I'm not going to waste too much time. So I didn't spot these last week when I came in. We've got these projectors. Most of the classes have got these digital screens, but these classes have got the projectors, which I didn't spot. And I'll need to bring the step ladders because they're about 12 foot up, and I need to test the power cable there going into the back of the projector, and then I need to test the projector as well, which I can just about reach. But the cable, I need to get access to that. It's running all through that conduit, which is really annoying as well. But we'll have a go. So here's a good example of a plug that's not wired very well. Hope you can see that. But you can see where they haven't cut the outer insulation quite enough, so then they've stuffed in the live and neutral there. You can just see it, and you can see the indent on that cable there where the cover's been on top and screwed down. So that, that could go through to the strands inside. So that's going to need a little rewire and a little bit of attention. So that's why it's important to open the plugs. Another one for you here. So we're just pat testing. Let me just zoom out there. We're just pat testing one of these, like they're like a hot cupboard in the school kitchen, and they've got like a hot plate on the kit with a food warm on the thing. They're quite a high wattage, this one. I think it's about 10 or 11 amp this one draws. Quite a nice chunky cable on it, but as you can see, over time, there's been some heat damage to the socket, and it's also cracked the plastic as well, and the same on that one. I can't see any heat damage on the pins as such. Well, there might be a little bit of, there's a bit of melting plastic there with the heat build up. So although we check all this, although the sockets don't strictly come under our remit, it's always a good little thing to look out for, and just let the duty holder know that there is some surface damage and some heat damage to a socket, because that'll only get worse over time. So their electrician company or their maintenance company can come in and swap the socket out for that one. So just one to look out for. Found another damaged cable plug here. It's in the kitchen on one of these big turbofan ovens, and the cable looks like it's been trapped or something inside the socket box underneath, or it's had a bit of a tug on it, and it's pulled it right out of the moulded plug. So there's nothing we can do about that to repair it, apart from popping on a new plug, which I'm going to do now, make it nice and safe. So I'm back on these IT racks again, and come across another one of these boxes, and basically inside there is an extension lead, like a 4-gang extension socket, with 4 extension leads plugged in, which are down here. I don't really want to leave it without doing a check on it. There's physically no way I can get into that box. It looks like the unit has been built around the box, and they've probably done it for safety for the school kids, so you can't physically access all the electrical connections and things. But so it's impossible to do any visual checks on the plugs. But what I can do is I can take the plug from the wall here, and the plug comes in down the bottom down there, and then it's distributed to the 4. So I should be able to get an earth continuity on those extension leads and do the insulation and the polarity, and then I'll just have to make a note on the paperwork that I can't access that box. I don't like doing it because I want to check the plugs, and I want to check everything's seated properly and there's no cable damage. I can't physically see a way in. If any of you guys have come across this before and know a way into these boxes that I can't see, then drop me a comment. Now this is something you come across quite often. We've got a dishwasher here which is it's a freestanding one. It's pushed in under a kitchen worktop, and when you come to see, it's plugged in up here on the top, and then it's fed through the hole down there. But some people might think, oh well, I don't have to pull the thing out because the plug's there and I can get to some metallic parts on the front. But have a look there, it's a rewirable plug, and 99% of the time white goods appliances will come with a moulded plug on it. So if you see that, it should set alarm bells ringing, thinking, oh hang on a minute, there might be an extension lead or something down there. So I pulled it out, and lo and behold, it goes into a trailing socket here. I'm guessing that's because the only plug socket is above the worktop, and they can't poke the moulded plug through the hole. So they've left the flex just clipped up here, and then they've put a trailing socket down, which is just hanging like that. I mean, it's not the best way to do it because it's pulling on the cord grip inside, and that could come out. So there's enough flex on here that I'll just release the strain on the cable and just seat it behind. But not the best way of doing it, really. You know, appliance like this, you know, can pull as much as 2 kilowatt when the heaters go in and drying, I suppose, maybe even more. So not ideal, but you know, we'll test it, and then we just make a note of it and let the duty holders know that they should really get that moulded plug straight in directly into a socket. So I've finally managed to get into one of these IT racks. It was actually a door on the front, and you have to loosen the torque screws on the front, which is a bit tricky. But also just managed to have a look inside, and inside is a sequential start PSU. And in big white lettering underneath it says, please do not pat test. So it looks like a visual only on that one. But if that thing hadn't have been loose, then I wouldn't have realised that to undo those screws. But you learn something new every day. So if you find one of these, visual check only, I think. So we all finished that job for today. Did all right in the end. 270 items. Normally we'd do a bit less than that, but because we had all those IT racks, there was just bundles and bundles of AC adapters and IEC cables, so that kind of bumped up the numbers a bit. So got to come back tomorrow. But yeah, on those display screens, and basically there was what I found out, there's an IEC cable that runs up behind the back of the display screen, and it's an IEC, it's a split cable. It goes into 2 IEC ends, and then one's powering like a sound bar on top of the telly, and the other one's powering the screen itself. But on some of them, when they've put them in, they've wedged the AC adapter and the cable right in the middle of the unit, behind the unit, and there's no way you can get to it. You can't even pull it out or anything. So I've had to leave those ones. I've done the screens okay, but I really would have liked to have done the other end and the AC adapters just to check them over, because they probably get quite hot behind there, and like to check that. But there's physically no way of doing it unless you hook the telly off the wall, which ain't happening. So let's have another look tomorrow, but we might have to leave that. So yeah, see you all tomorrow.